Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome. I'm Carrie Benuska, and I'm kind of an OG outside. I've been here a year and a half. I guess Kevin is like really the OG, but we're super excited you're here, and we have a very exciting presentation to give you, and we just don't think it would be right if we stayed seated. Like, we think we need to start. Do you go into a listing presentation, or are you just like sitting? No, like, let's all stand up.
Us too? Yeah, I guess.
Let's stand up.
All right, let's do it.
Whoa.
Before we eat again.
Everybody get up, it's time to slam now.
I will sell this house today.
Good morning, slam, and welcome to the jam.
A always BBC closing. Always be closing. Always be closing.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
All right.
Silence. A realtor knows it can be one of the most powerful tools in a negotiation.
Only one thing counts in this life. Get them to sign on the line which is dotted.
Welcome to the jam.
Did I need the sale? Yes. Was I worried? No. Why? Because. Because why? Because I won't sell anything I don't believe in. And when I believe, you believe.
Okay, how's that? Woo. Okay, so we all know that listings dominate, right? They rule. We want more signs and more yards, and that's how your brands really grow organically. So it feels very fitting that I have these three amazing listing agents here, all super different, all from different places. And we are going to be talking to you about what we kind of think are the 4 keys to a successful listing appointment that ends with them signing on the line that is dotted. So we're going to start by just intros. Karen, will you start?
So my name is Karen Narodny, and I'm part of the Alamere team with my son, Alex Narodny. We serve Marin County from Sausalito all the way up to Petaluma, so into Sonoma a little. And we just joined Side about 6 months ago. We're newbies here, so this is our very first event. Took us a while to onboard, and we have 4 people on our team, and I've been in real estate for 46 years. Alex has been in 8, and we bring the young, energetic, and the experienced to the table every single time. So we're very proud of our business and have a very large business and expect to expand our team a lot.
Yes, and she wasn't going to say it, but I'm going to say it. She's amazing at teaching and coaching, and was one of Mike Ferry's like original people. So she teaches me a lot, and I'm her business manager. Okay, Kevin.
Hello everyone. My name is Kevin Cruz, founder of Kinetic Real Estate. Been in business for a total about 6.5 years. Started with Side about 2 years ago. We operate a team of we started with Side with about 3 team members, and currently now we have about 50 plus, including the back end and sales agent. And we serve the Bay Area. Even though we started in Daly City, we became a partner in Daly City next to San Francisco. I'm not sure if you guys know where Daly City is for majority of you, but it's next to San Francisco. Okay, yeah, it's not that it's not that popular of a city. So, but we serve the entire Bay Area now. Yeah, and we also expanded in Sacramento as well.
Awesome. Okay, Jason.
All right. Hi, guys. I'm Jason Madani with Room Real Estate. I started at Side when there was like 20 people. No, maybe not even that many. Probably 15 people with some chairs in a building that wasn't finished yet, that they had just acquired. So it was a really small room. I've been doing this since 2003. I have a team, so we have about, I would say about 5 people on the listing team. I have a listing manager, listing coordinator, an operations manager who's a partner with me, and we have about 30 buyer's agents. Last year we had about 12. We started with Side like early 2018. I think it was still called a different name, but I've been doing this since 2003. Last year we did about $377 million in production, and yeah, I love our job. I wake up really happy and excited to serve my clients every day. We have an office in kind of by the beach, but in SoCal, which is part of Santa Cruz. We also have one in Felton, California, and we have a Bay Area office as well that we just kind of got started. So we go from pretty much Mountain View all the way down to North Monterey County, but we specialize in, we started in rural real estate, so houses in the mountains, but we sell things everywhere now, so it's kind of developed. And yeah, with our company, we have a little staging company and a lot of in-house products.
Love it. So we got some powerhouses in the room here. We wanted to talk about, and we went kind of around the horn a lot about how we wanted to organize this. And so we ended up coming up with what we thought were like 4 keys to a really successful listing presentation. And so we're going to start with our number 1, which we believe is that, and that's why we did. Did you guys like the video? Yes. Okay, so a guy from, we have an amazing videographer that put that all together. So, but you can see from that was meant to help you get a sense of we're going to stand up, we're going to get some energy going, right? So we believe that first and foremost, for a listing presentation to be effective, you need to adopt a success mindset. So I want to start, and we're just going to let these guys roll. What do you guys do to get ready? How do you psych yourselves up, or do you calm yourselves down?
I guess I'll start. So you kind of have to trick yourself in a way that you just always got to motivate yourself, change your physiology. Like before you walk into a listing appointment, I don't know, whatever you need to do that day, wake up, I don't know, go to the gym, do some jumping jacks, do some push-ups, do whatever it takes to motivate you, even watching a YouTube video that motivates you, because you want to have that energy. And energy is, it's contagious. People want that energy. When you walk in there, you want to look happy, you want to look excited in a way. Not extremely excited, over-exaggerating, but you just want to have that energy. People love that energy. That's why we name it kinetic, right? Kinetic energy. It's one of the things that we do, but energy is everything. So that's that's what I do normally.
And what music do you listen to? You said you listened to music before.
I like electronic dance music. I'll listen to some rave music, just really loud, just be ready to go.
Okay.
As soon as I walk in there, I'm ready to go. Yeah, energy is everything to me. Yeah.
On the other hand, I listen to Motown. So.
Oh, Motown. Who in particular?
I don't know. Curtis Mayfield, Marvin Gaye, right? Okay. And I learned a long time ago to drive up and imagine my sign out in front. Sometimes I've trimmed the bushes and painted the house, but my sign is definitely out in front. But what Alex and I do, because we usually go together, say bigger team is better to present, and we talk about the property beforehand. We talk about the personalities of the people, what we sense there is a need for. We do a pre-listing qualification conversation, so we have a lot more information about whether they're meeting with other agents, what kind of questions they might have, what they might think the value is. We have quite a few questions we ask. They change depending on the person sometimes. And we want to reassure them that we're not going to waste their time and take a lot of their time. But the whole point of it is to set them up for us to be the people they want to work with. It's a professional conversation. So,
I'm dying to hear this answer.
So
Jason.
What we want to get hyped up when we go to a listing presentation. I like to get some wins in the day before we even get there. So if I can get contingency removal done on one of our houses, if I can find out that an appraisal went through, just kind of some good positive energy, some good things that are happening. So I like to walk in with a bunch of wins already. So I'm already glowing with we're winning. So I like that mojo. And then we try to build rapport and hang out with our client. I go with my listing manager, who's actually in the front row, Elena there. We go together, we hang out, we ask a lot of questions, we build rapport.
I think you're moving on to the next topic, actually.
Did I?
Yeah.
Skip that?
You go ahead.
But you're on a success mindset. I want to know more about what music you listen to.
Music, okay, so Eminem.
Oh, I knew. Okay. A little angry man before you get going. Okay. I love it. Okay. Let's go to the next. We believe that the next, and this is just so you know, we were showing in the first introductory slides, I showed, they each kind of talked about what their listing superpower is. So as we go through and talk about these topics, Kevin is particular, his superpower is preparing for success. So I'm going to have him start about preparation and why it's so important.
Not on the notes, right? So I'm just going to
Yeah.
use my phone on this one because I might forget some
You're good.
things. So I simplified it like, basically, how do you say it? Like, you want to create as many touches as possible before meeting the client. So as soon as somebody calls you, right, you got an online lead from Yelp, from Zillow, or Sphere of Influence, it doesn't matter, or referral, right? You get a call, hey, I'm thinking about selling my property. Great, now you probe and get to know the client, like what's most important for you about a realtor. You ask them a lot of questions, right, over the phone before you schedule an appointment. Then after that, after you schedule the appointment, hey, I'm going to send you a text message. I'm going to send you a Google Calendar invite. I'm going to send you a pre-marketing proposal with our recap based on what we discuss. So when we meet, we can talk about what's most important for you. So now that's already like text, Google Calendar invite, phone call, email recap, like pre-marketing. Like that's already like 4 to 5 touches at this point, right? So yeah, so that's basically, that's what I do, like listing prepare. On that pre-marketing proposal, you basically talk about the recap of what you discussed, and you talk about like, you put your links of like your previous listings that you had. Visuals is everything. Visuals is everything. They want to see that. They want to see your reviews. Like, I think what they care most about is what people say about you, right? You can tell them, I'm a top producer, I'm a top agent, like I sell this many houses. Nobody cares about that. What they care more about is like, how can you take care of me, right? What do other people say about you? That's what matters the most. So you put out everything on the email. And now they read that. So, right when you meet with them, right? I usually bring like a cake or like some type of like, like a good gesture, right? And you go over there, like, hi, blah, 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 and you have them, tour on their home. And after I sit down with them, I just ask them like, hey, did you have a chance to review my, our email, the email? Most of them will say yes. And after that, talk about what's most important for you.
What happens if they haven't looked at it?
Oh, that's fine. Then I'll go over it.
Then you'll go over it.
Yeah, and after I go over it with them, right, I'll just, I'll talk about the recap. After we tour the property, after we sit down and assuming that they haven't read it yet, that's fine. I'm just gonna, talk about the recap of what we have discussed. Like, hey, based on what you told me, this is your timeline. Based on this, did I miss anything? And after that, do you have any questions? Yeah.
And do you bring a CMA with you?
Always, yes.
Okay, but how do you know what kind of condition it's in? How do you know?
Well, on that email, I would put condition of the home influences the price.
Okay.
So usually I send comps already on that pre-marketing proposal.
Okay.
I send comps already, and I will never give them an exact range of how much you can sell their home for. You always want to give a pretty wide range. It's pretty crazy because you don't know what their expectation is. Like, like we don't know yet because I don't know this person. And most of the leads that I get is usually online leads now. So I don't know them at all. And honestly, before those people call you, like they have to look, they know a little bit about you already. Whether they saw you on Google, they saw you on Yelp, they saw your Zillow reviews, they saw your social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, everything. And we have all of those. Yeah.
Sorry.
And I'm curious about, you mentioned reviews, which is a big topic. How many reviews do you have?
With Zillow, I think we are close to 300 reviews. I have my personal Yelp page. I have like about, it used to be like 100 plus, but they unrecommended some reviews. So I'm back to like 74 or something.
And do you do your Google business page as well?
Yes, we have Google business page. We're working on that as a unit. We'll probably have like about 20 plus right now for myself, yeah.
But that makes a difference when you go.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because nobody's gonna call you until they look you up. Like how else would they find you, right? They'll have to look you up first.
Sure.
And they look at everything before they call you because, in our area, like their house is like stock market at this point. Like,
Yes.
They watch it like a hawk. Like the reason why all the neighbors go to open houses, nearby because they want to know, they're curious.
For sure.
Yeah.
Jason, how do you prepare?
So I usually pull comps. So before I go to the listing appointment, I call the pendings and the actives to find out how many offers they have. We go into the listing appointment. already asking if they've done upgrades. And I also have my iPad with us in case we have to pull new comps live. A lot of the houses in our area we've already sold, so we know them and we know what happened with them. So having the inside scoop of like, how many offers did this one have? What did it go for? And then I don't give, it's more about building rapport. So we want to have a conversation. Do you guys need to rent back? What's going on? Where are you moving to? How long do you guys need to prepare? We ask all these questions because we can pivot, like if they need a long rent back, like even over 60 days, maybe we can get that cash offer and get it longer. So just finding out what they need and practicing like active listening to make sure we can pivot and hit their goals. I don't usually give a range on the, I give their goal price and I tell them we're not gonna pick the exact strategy because you might be ready in a month from now to hit the market. My strategy might change. Because sometimes I think if they're interviewing realtors on strategy a month in advance, I like to say, this is our goal price. The strategy on how we're going to get there could change depending on what the market does. So we just really build rapport, look at the house, ask a lot of questions, and then we actually have a listing check sheet that we fill out with, I think we even, when we're at the listing appointment, we're like booking photos and booking inspections and telling them we could do this on this day, that on this day. So by the time I get am I getting too far ahead of myself?
Yeah, I got to keep you in line.
Keep me in line. Watch me.
You're good.
You found me.
Okay,
today.
I do kind of have I want to ask you really fast, like, is there a house that you went to that you were like not expecting, like how bad it was? Like where you went where you're just like, wow.
Oh yeah, I've been to houses where there's junk, you can't even walk inside it.
Right.
But we can clean those up. We we get a project manager on our team on it. We'll go get dumpsters out there, we'll lend them the money to fix it. So it's all different. Like when you get into a listing, I mean, when we just sold, the seller's like, I'm not doing anything. And we said, okay. I guess the other realtor said they wanted to do everything. We just signed it up because we listened to her. She says, I'm not doing anything. And then we got her to do the inspection reports and a couple little things, but we sold the house.
Of course you did.
So it's all,
So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but when I'm preparing, one of the questions I ask is, will all the people who make decisions be present at the listing? Because we've had the experience of going and finding the husband couldn't make it, or the aunt who was part owner wasn't there. And it's pretty much guaranteed you're not going to get the listing. So if they say, oh, something's come up, but you can meet with me, and I'll tell them, we reschedule. We just don't go. It's just not. And then another question is there anybody else you rely on for advice on this? So you find out they have an aunt who's a realtor in Chicago, or their daughter just got her license in San Diego, and you say, well, can they be there, or can they be on the call and be available by Zoom? So you kind of answer all the objections, but you also start to participate in their life. And I think that sets you apart right there, that you're asking things that are important for them to know, because they don't understand what we do. So one of the things I do is when I come to the house, I actually look at how the house looks and how the people are dressed and how they respond when you come in, because for me the key is to get them on your tribe. So it's great to be ready and everything that you do, we do as well, in terms of the preparation. But if you come in the door and you don't create some kind of an empathy and a relationship with these people, it's still a personality conversation. And so you have to set your own position aside, which I'm sure you both do, and listen to who they are, but also look at who they are. So what I like to say is, when you're listening, you're not just listening, you're hearing. So you may hear frustration, you may hear fear, you may hear that they want way more money than it's worth, and how are you going to address those issues? Because they have to be addressed right then and there. So when I come in, if somebody says, for example, we say, do you want to walk us through the house, or do you want us to go on our own? Well, if the house is a mess and one person is in casual clothes and the other person is very dressed up, then I'm more likely to suggest we walk around alone, because this thing fell off, sorry. What we're trying to do is make the person who's the decision maker more comfortable. And if they are not comfortable with the way their house looks, them following us around might not be the right move. Sometimes they say, fine, we'll show you. But just really paying attention to those things and then mirroring their body language when we're talking to them. So we've sort of stepped past the preparation.
I think
into
we
the
pressed, yeah, I think we have. But one thing I just wanted to say to y'all is that I think the thing that was interesting as we were preparing, because I was a listing agent for a long time, and I would go into the listing presentation almost like interviewing them as well. This is why these guys are legit, because all of them were like, no, I mean, we take everything. We want every listing. So I thought it was really, they're going in and they're not interviewing that person. They want every listing they go for, which I thought was really good. Okay, let's move on to the next one, and this is where Karen, well, I think both Karen and obviously all of them really do well with this, but Karen has done a lot of study of neuro-linguistic programming and has been doing this a long time. And so I'd love for you to start just talking about how you connect with the sellers and what that process is like.
Well, I've done NLP for a long time to the point where it becomes sort of natural. And I think there's a lot to say, but I probably, as a piece of advice, is something called future pacing. And it's an expression in NLP where you prepare that seller for your expectation by making statements or asking questions that lead to a natural result. I find the top agents out there, including these guys, they've already said it a few times, they are doing that all the time. They're doing that in all their presentation materials, sending all the visual documents. He's doing it with his iPad, getting the appointment set. Everything is saying, this is where we're already at, so all you have to do is sign. So it ultimately leads to a signed listing that day. And I've always been an advocate for a one-stop signing, because all we have is our time, and if they're not going to sign with us and it becomes very clear that they're not going to sign with us, we might still get the listing, but we might as well just get out of there. They're not going to sign. I mean, you can try many things, but if you're able to get them into your tribe, which is what NLP does, it gets people to feel comfortable with you, and then you use language that leads them to a decision, a quicker decision, then we're out of there, we've got the listing, and we move on.
So help us understand some of that, like, role play for us.
You know, it's uncomfortable at first, but you don't say, if you list with me, you say, when we list together. It's that simple. When we list together, you find ways to communicate. So our team puts together a package of inspections and things, and I'm assuming that works for you. You don't say, does that work for you? I assume that works for you. And what they've done is they've now started to talk to you as if you are their agent. And they go, oh, yeah, that works for me. So should we schedule it now? Oh, let's wait just a minute. Okay. But you see, you've already planted that seed. So there's this subtle way. But like I said, I think if you really look at your language, if you do a lot of listings, you're already doing this. You just need to be aware of it and use it as much as possible. Another one is to use the idea of what specifically, that word, what specifically do you need to hear from me? That particular phrase seems to bring out a lot of questions from people that you wouldn't normally hear.
How do you guys connect with sellers?
I think that words that you're saying, like, does that work for you? I think for my email, even the pre-marketing proposal, it's like, hey, looking forward to meeting, working with you, see you at this time. Yeah, those words, it absolutely works.
So now we have languaging for, you probably are all doing it anyway, but that's future pacing.
Language, yeah, I didn't realize that, but hey, you know, I'm already doing it.
You're now an NLP expert.
Shoot.
We're big on storytelling, so we get into a listing and it's, you know, we show a video that, you know, we have listings we've sold all across the county in different towns. We use a video kind of like with a similar property and maybe even a similar person to who we're meeting with. And then we go over like that house, we prepped it, we staged it, we lent them, you know, $30,000, $40,000 to get it all up to speed. Project managed it, got all the reports done so we could get an as-is offer. Got them 10 offers, so I kind of walk them through the process, and we got them a rent back, and especially if somebody who needs a rent back, telling them stories of your past successes is definitely like our specialty. It's kind of like just getting that expectation going and that's really our technique. We really good at big on storytelling.
Yeah, Kevin.
Yes, so the topics connect with the seller. I just saw it. So as soon as you do all that pre-marketing and scheduling, creating these touches right earlier than what I mentioned, everything is going to be on the slide, I believe, right, on the QR.
Yes, and at the end we're going to be giving. There's going to be a QR code, and they've very graciously given some materials for you to download. So.
Yes. So going back, like after you meet with a client, you have them tour their property, and you sit down with them. And before I even start, I forgot to mention this, because I'm on stage, but like I usually introduce myself and kind of more of like I want to tell them my background. I tell them where I'm from, tell them what I did, failures I had in the past. Like, with my previous businesses, like basically, I have a family. I even show them my family photo. Like it really lowers down their guard, like their defense in a way, like you're connected because they can actually relate based on the story that you tell them. And that story, I'm telling you guys, like it's very important to create to have a story, have like a 2 to 3 minute story to tell to somebody. People love that. You can connect with them a lot better. And after that, it's just a lot easier to talk to them afterwards. All this objection that they have, it's like, it's okay.
Well, and Jason, you were talking about just the time in the beginning where, surprise, you just sit and kind of chat with them.
Yeah, just that, feeling them out and, getting excited and building rapport. If they're into mountain bike riding, we talk about mountain bike riding. Even if it's something I haven't done in a long time, but, just build rapport, become their friend. It's a lot harder to not, sign with somebody that you really like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once you're bonded, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
They're almost like begging you, like, okay, we're ready to go.
Well, that's kind of what you were already saying, Karen.
I just wanted to mention on that QR code, when we started this conversation about this, we talked about, for me, it's really important to have, in real estate, sellers and buyers all have questions. They have the same questions. We all encounter the same questions and sometimes you'll encounter 3. My old coach used to say to me, once you've hit 5, walk away because they're such a difficult seller, you don't want to deal with them. But, they'll ask you, simple questions like, what is your commission structure? Will you take a reduced commission? Will you take a listing for 30 days? Will you pay for staging? All these questions are on there, and we did not provide you with the answers. We originally were going to give the answers that we each give, but it's really important to know that they all ask the same questions every time. And the best thing you can do is take those questions that are on the QR code and write your answer. Because your answer is going to be different from somebody else's, and be ready with that answer because there's not that many more. You might come up with a couple that aren't on there, but you will be ready when that question hits, and you've got to be comfortable with it, whatever your answer is.
Well, and we might end up trying to get them to do a little role playing and see if we can get them going on some of these questions, objections. Okay, let's move to the final and best close. So that you guys go and you're expecting to get it signed on the line that is dotted. Is that correct?
Yep. I actually just basically start filling out we've already got the photos, date scheduled. We got like the listing check sheet filled out. And then I pull out the listing agreement and is there anything in the house that's leased? And then is there anything you guys do not want to include? And I start writing that in the agreement. And then I go to the agency and the contract, and we have 90% of our listings were at 6% last year, but we go straight into it's just a flow. It's like this, bam, 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 and after it's easy. We even start like a paper trail. It's just goes around. But
so how often do they sign right then?
I would say 70% of the time they do. So.
What if they say, oh, can we wait? I think I want to think about it.
Most of them, since we get 70% of them just going for it, if somebody says that, I could go for the hard close, but people don't want to have the hard close like Alex Baldwin was doing anymore.
Really?
No, I set another appointment to talk with them again. Or I just, sometimes we could say, well, we're ready to go. Sometimes if I can create enough urgency to show like, hey, we should probably meet now because interest rates are going up.
Right.
So I combat it a different way. I don't do the salesy approach. I say, well, guys, we want to get you on the market now. I know our painter can start on this day. I know that our vendors, the longer that we wait, that you guys are trying to figure out, we're already the best ones in our area. We sell all the houses around you. And if we don't, we come up with something else. But we can say we can hit your schedule. We sell our services because we have an in-house photography company and an in-house staging. So we can basically get your house on the market really, really fast. And if that's the goal, or if it's something else, we just want to create urgency. Instead of them procrastinating and waiting to choose their agent, they need to do this now because we're the right ones, because we sell the houses and we can get it done faster. So it's more of like, let's just create this urgency and let's just do this now because you're wasting time and rates are going up and inventory is climbing. We say, in our town, we had 17 new listings a week. Now we have 40. So it's like the longer you wait, the more, Joe's going to sell his house across the street and, he's going to get that top offer because, there might be 4 or 5 listings. So just creating urgency is the big deal. And there's it's easy to do that with, being in real estate. We know what to do.
I like the way you did. Interest rates are going up.
Up.
No, you went like this.
That's scary.
Visual.
There was a visual there.
Yeah. And I even have a sheet that shows there's a government website that shows all the interest rates that my lender sent me, and I show them that. Some more visuals, the better.
What about you, Kevin?
For me, that packet that I bring, marketing packet with a closing cost guideline, utility, all that stuff. I bring listing agreement all the time, a completed one. So it's a little bit different from you. I'm not one of those with the flow, of course, but obviously I've been in sales long enough to know if I know the person is ready to sign, then shoot, let's sign, right? But for me, for people that I meet, right, it's usually online leads, what I mentioned earlier. So I'll go over the listing agreement. And as I look at the listing agreement, you can kind of look at their face to see how, oh shoot, do I need to sign now? You can see that right away.
Yeah.
You can see that right away. So I go over the listing agreement. I'll talk about what's most important about this listing agreement. And from there, I think for me, I would say 80% of my listing is signed not right away, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you write in do you do 6% as well? And do you write it?
Oh, yeah. So it depends. So it depends if I'm competing with other realtors. Yeah, so it's normally online leads, they like to interview 2 to 3 realtors. It just happens all the time. You either want to be the first one or the last one. First one is you lock it in right away. Because if I know they're going to interview other realtors, and usually they say it already over the phone. We're interviewing 2 to 3 realtors, and we chose you to candidate blah blah blah, and after that you meet with them, then I'll try to lock that in. What will it take for me to lock this listing in? But normally I charge between 5 to 6% as well. And if I represent the buyer and the seller, I usually do 3.5%. That's one of the things that I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Karen, tell us about your clothes.
So, using language again, using your body language, either Alex and I will ask. So, is everything we're saying here making sense to you? And they usually nod at that point. You're near the end of the presentation.
And are you nodding while you're saying that?
Yes, we're nodding it, and then one of us will say, whoever's speaking at that point will say, do you think that we can sell your house? And they'll usually nod, and they'll say, well, so we should get started on the paperwork? And they kind of go, oh, yeah. I mean, it is kind of, you find yourself wondering if you should ask for the order, but that's such a backdoor way to ask. And then sometimes they step back and they sit back and they go, well, we have one more question. But you kind of know you're done, because if they're asking you another question, they're ready to sign. And then if they say, well, we want to think about it, what I usually say is, do you really want to sit here with another realtor and go through, is it going to be that?
You want to do this again?
Don't you want to be sort of done? And usually one of them rolls their eyes, and that's who I focus on, and I go, yeah, you're ready right now.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Leading them to the inevitable.
Yes.
I love it.
The horse by the rein.
Okay, so what I was kind of thinking about is we came up with these, and you're going to have them when we give you the QR code. I'm not giving it yet because I want you to pay attention. But Karen came up with this list of 10 questions that she believes each one of you should be fully prepared to answer. And what I thought I would do is just rattle off a couple. And then I'm going to leave it for you guys. I'm sure you have questions, but let's just do a couple. They're not prepared, by the way. I'm just going to throw something at them. Okay. Your website shows you've sold many cheaper homes. Are you equipped to sell my amazing house?
Me?
Sure.
Well, I've already shown you a video of an amazing house that matches yours, so I've deferred to that question. But, I basically just tell them, everybody gets the same service. We give our $500,000 seller is going to get the same video, the same staging. We're going to lend them money. We represent, all kinds of properties. So we're suited to, we're set up for it. But I've already shown them a video that they've seen of a.
But what if, okay, so let's, I forgot, your room. Okay,
Yeah.
let's pretend you have only sold cheaper property.
Okay.
Let's pretend it's when you first got started.
Okay, so you got it.
You've only shown, all you have is just like, and this is like a step up.
You know what? You're going to be my most important client. When I get this listing, you're talking to Joe down the street who does $8 million houses, and yours is a $4 million house. You're going to be the bottom of his barrel. With me, you're going to be my most important client. I'm going to work my tail off for you. So I basically go into the, just like we're going to work. We want this, and one keyword, we want this neighborhood. I want all your other neighbors to know that we kicked butt. Like we really did a great job. So that's the speech.
Okay. Karen,
And I use that when I go out of area sometimes.
I'm signing right
Sorry.
now. Okay, Karen, let's hear. How would you answer it? So let's pretend you're not Alamir. Let's pretend you're just getting started. And you haven't sold that many great things, and you go to a house in Tiburon. That's amazing. And so how are you going to answer that question?
So let me ask you this. Is there something about my website that shows that I'm not capable of marketing your home effectively? Is there something there that concerns you? Because we actually have sold many homes in your price range. We haven't always listed them, but we're very, very familiar with that. And over the years, we have sold much more expensive homes. So we'd be happy to provide examples of that when we get out my computer and show it to you.
Okay. Kevin, I'm going to give you a new one. I only want to list my home for 30 to 60 days. That's all I'm doing. You okay with that?
Yes, I am.
Oh, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. I'd be like, no,
that's
that
perfectly fine. Our business is based on vertical integration. We run a moving company, staging company. We have junk removal. We do everything. So I have a full team set up for you. So I can set you up with calendar of events. But I'm just going to need your help and comply, with the calendar that we have to make sure we can list it so we can sell it within 60 days.
And what if I don't like you? Can I get out of it?
If you don't like me, get out of it. I mean, that's hard. That's very hard. But yeah.
Not going to happen.
Not like me?
Yeah, that's going to be very hard, right?
Yeah, that's going to be hard.
Yeah.
Okay, who has, I think we have microphones up. Are there microphones back here? Please come up and ask these wonder people your hardest questions.
Hi, my name is Danielle Fountain from the One Realty in Austin, Texas. Carrie's my business manager. But my question actually was for Jason, actually across the board, some of you have mentioned this, but two things. But actually more than you've mentioned that. You mentioned that you own your own staging company. A, do you charge for that?
Yep.
And then the follow-up question for that also is, you mentioned you loan $40,000 for renovations. That's one of my big things is like, we used Revive once to, let's make your house look the best so that you can get the most out of it. What do you do? How does that work?
So the staging, we charge $3,000 for it. There's no rental fees or anything like that, but we cover full staging for $3,000. And we just put that in the listing contract. And the verbiage we use is we've partnered with a stager. The great thing about using our company is there's no rental fees. And if you want to have the furniture there during the rent back, we'll leave it there too. So we really just sell them on service and that it's going to be good. And sorry, what was the second part of the question?
You had mentioned that you loan $40,000 for renovations. What does that look like? How do you go about that?
So we just basically write checks. So we get their approval on. So if it needs paint, Alina and Brian, our listing team, work on getting quotes. So we get quotes on the paint, the carpets, the landscaping. We do all that work. Project manage it. They approve a sheet that they have to sign that says this is how much it's going to cost and here's everything. I've had a couple weird situations, but we haven't had anybody. I just lent a client $10,000 and that we made a big mistake on. It was a reverse mortgage, so make sure if you're lending money on a reverse mortgage, you get a prelim and you see their mortgage statement. But we got it back. We just closed it. Thank you. Today or yesterday. But yes, so we've got them all to go through, but we've got contracts and agreements that say they're going to pay us back. We do check equity and make sure that we can actually. I did have a client who had a bankruptcy attorney, and I didn't lend her any money. So, and the attorney wouldn't talk to me. But most clients qualify. There's only been that's the only situation where we didn't lend money out. But we have a contract, a property prep spreadsheet, and we also do the text. Elena's built some great systems for the listing side where we basically do a text message for their approval. So we get the job rolling, because if you're waiting for somebody to sign something, could be a delay in timing. So we just get a text saying, yes, let's do this.
And then do you run that through a separate company, LLC entity, or is it through just your main?
You should run it through a separate LLC entity to keep it on your books cleaner. That's the right way to do it.
But he doesn't, I'm sure.
I have a list of things I'm going to start doing, but yeah, you should do it that way. Don't follow my lead on that. Yeah. But it's an accounting. We lent out like $2 million last year to our clients.
Crazy.
So.
Does anyone else have any questions? Yes.
I'm Jeff Rosa from Market Real Estate in San Diego. You guys talked about signing contracts in person. How do you do that? Do you bring the contract with you? Are you using the side app and having them sign it digitally? How does that work for you guys?
I could answer that one. So I usually I like to increase my odds as much as possible. You want to just come prepared, right? Meaning that just have everything. So it shows like, wow, this person is prepared, not just from pre-marketing proposal, not just from emails, Google Calendar invite. I know I keep repeating that. Text message reminder. But you bring everything, listing agreement physically. We make 2 copies of it. So, just in case, and assuming that they want to sign already, you convince them that they're ready to sign and work with you. Sometimes, since you have your laptop with you, just be like, hey, it's a lot easier if you actually use DocuSign. So if you DocuSign through Side app, and you can just send it to them through email while you're in person with them over there.
That's cool.
But the point of having that physical paper is to go through the actual contract, because doing it over without you having it and just having it on a computer, I don't know, it's a lot harder. And yeah.
Kieran, do you do that? Do you bring the paper?
We bring the paper,
yeah.
Okay.
For the most part. And the only time we do the side is when there's a partner that's not there, and someone's on the phone with us or something, and then we say, we'll just send you a DocuSign. Sometimes the people have to leave, and they say, we're going to sign, and they do. But most of the time, it's paper.
Do you bring?
We only bring the
agency and
the agency and the contract. Everything else is DocuSign.
Yeah, I'm locked and loaded. We have the whole thing ready to go. We're with paper getting it signed. No doubt. And I always want to make sure, I know that it's really important I kind of have a clever way of asking, what's your spouse's name or your partner's name? Before I go to the interview, I want to make sure all the decision makers are there.
Yes.
I want to make sure that they have enough time for the meeting. But I just checking on your schedule that day, not asking, just kind of getting all the information, but in a nice way, so that you're not saying, making sure all the decision makers. I don't use that verbiage. I ask who your partner is. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, next.
Hi, my name is Brittany Trujillo. I work with Times Real Estate here in Newport Beach. I actually have 2 questions for you guys. How do you bring up commission during the listing presentation? And is it the last thing that you mention?
I say that I'm between 5. I would say good realtors are between 5% and 6%. We're the best. We're 6.
How do you bring it up, though?
I don't usually talk about it unless it comes up. Because if they don't talk about it, then it's 6%.
Okay, so it's just on the listing agreement. You just send it out to them, and then you just.
Yep. It says the 6 already checked in. My office staff preps the listing agreement for us with a 6-month listing. If the market starts to slow down, I'll start doing 8s, 9s, or maybe even a year.
Okay.
But with this market, I do 6 months. And if somebody wants to cancel a listing and they say, hey, we want to give you a 30-day listing, I just put 6 months, and client has the right to cancel in 45 days if they're unhappy. That never happens. But if somebody has that, I don't do the 30-day thing where it's going to expire. I get a cancellation clause inside the listing so that you're not trying to get an extension signed.
And would you walk away if they won't give you your 6?
No, I don't walk away. But
Do you ever scratch it and go?
if they'll sign today, we can talk.
Okay.
I'm saying, are you prepared to sign today? Right? You guys do the same thing, yeah. Whatever.
So Karen, in Marin, I can only imagine that 5 is more the
5 is
norm.
the common, yes.
Okay.
And
So
then
how do you do it?
We go in and we say we'll do it for 5. Sometimes people try and negotiate, and essentially they can find somebody who'll do the level of service that we are doing at that percentage, and where do they going to find that? And most of the time they drop it. But I often ask, why do you want to pay less? If we're going to get you more because of our marketing skills, and that always makes them hesitate.
What about you, Kevin?
It depends. If I'm competing against other realtors, like I said, right, I would say, we usually do 5.5 to 6, but I'll do 5% on this one. If we represent buyer and seller, we'll do 3.5%. One thing I do also, I forgot to mention, we don't have a lot of time. I do a seller's estimated net sheet. You guys know those, the app, Chicago Title app, Fidelity. They have those, you just put like the number and you put like the commission. I will just put 5.5 in there, or sometimes I'll put 6% there, depending who the client is. And, I'll just print like a bunch of those, like let's just say their property is worth like 1.5, right? So I'll put something between 1.45, 1.475, 1.5, up to like 1.65 or something, like increments of like 25 or 50,000. And so that way, like they can pay attention how much more they're going to net. Even though if you don't know the loan amount or their lien, how much they owe, you just ask them there, and you can just deduct it from that net sheet. Yeah, so instead of them thinking about like how much is this person going to charge, you can see like how much am I going to make?
Yep.
Right.
It's the net, not the
Psychology again, like
Far more important.
Yeah, so I forgot. That's a very powerful tool. I do it all the time actually. Yeah, I forgot to mention it.
Okay, so you have one more?
Yeah, and then I had another follow-up question. What is on the listing checklist that you guys talked about?
On our listing checklist, we have like their loan amount, if they want to get inspections, if they want us to order them for them. I give them the checklist first to fill out. I think we do it different ways, different times when we go, but I like them to start using the pen and filling things out, put their telephone number in, their email in. So I like them to start doing some paperwork just to get the sense of, you're ready to sign today, a little warm up. So it has, emails, telephone numbers, how much money we're planning on lending them. We even put, we go to a lot of listing appointments, so it's sometimes I want to make sure I remember what I said. So goal price, start price, if we talk about strategy, just a lot of, pretty much, our listing check sheet has been like in an evolution. It's like two pages now, I think, or 3 pages. It started off like a half page. But we keep adding things to it to just make it more foolproof. So it's just a lot of stuff about, if we're doing staging, we're not doing staging. Do they have a vicious dog we have to be careful of? Because we send it to our TC department, we send it to our listing prep department, we send it to the whole company, so they all get to see what we know there. Is there an alarm system? Is there leased, this is a big one, is there leased solar?
Yeah, for sure.
So we make sure our TC is transferring that like day one. There's just a lot of information. But anything we've ever had that went wrong, we put in that check sheet because it's pretty foolproof.
I appreciate it, you guys.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
you're going to have to come up and ask the question. Yeah. So
Can I
we're
just say
done.
that everybody from Side has been amazing. All the people who work at Side and all of you are just such amazing agents. Thank you for
We're glad
all
you're
that you
here.
are.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day.